what the Church of Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Well, let me tell you what is, you know, the Scientology will make you go into arbitration. They don't want you suing them in a law court. So they'll scream and holler and raise a big fuss, make you go to arbitration because you signed a piece of paper. Well, but when the tables is turned, they don't like it one damn bit. I tell you. So I'm fixing to tell you a story about that old boy, Grant Cardone, OT8. Well, what happened is that boy, he went to a big fancy event with his wife, Elena, Mrs. Cardone, and Grant had on his $755,000 Richard Mille wristwatch last year, and it was stolen. I say stolen. So Grant went to go sue, and the venue said, "Oh no, look at the back of your ticket. We're not responsible for anything lost or stolen. Y'all got to go to the arbitration." Well, let me tell you, shit, howdy. Grant Cardone, he squealed like a stuck pig. He said, "No, I don't got to go to arbitration. I'm suing you. Suing your ass." So it looks like the Scientologists, they like the arbitration, but they don't like it when they got to be arbitrated, especially over a $750,000 watch. Well, I'm going to tell you all about it. So you just get yourself a cup of shine and stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the Scientology Money Project with your host, Jeffrey Augustine. I'm part of the SPTV network on YouTube and other social media platforms. And we're having a lot of fun at SPTV because that's part of it. So I got a story to tell you that's really funny, and I think you'll enjoy it. So let's just get started. Now, the new thing is Richard Mille watches, and Drake, Michael Jordan, everyone who has extreme affluence is wearing these things. So look at this, Richard Mille, trillion, $6.8 million, 2.2 million, 4.4, 399,000, 1.7 million, 1.9 million, 2.7 million, 2.5 million, 1. And you could just see those prices. So there's 379,000, 295. So yeah, these things, they don't give them away. So Grant Cardone, what happened is Grant Cardone went to an F1 event, a race car event, and he was invited there, and he wore his $755,000 Richard Mille wristwatch. Now, Grant Cardone likes to collect wristwatches, but he makes it clear that he only buys them based on passive income and not earned income, and that's the difference. So in court papers last May, we're going to go look at another story here. So the story is here in The Real Deal. Grant Cardone sues Hard Rock Stadium F1 over stolen $750,000 watch. Crowdfunding, multifamily investor alleges thieves robbed him at Miami Grand Prix due to lax security. And that's what happened. He went to a motorsport event, and he rubbed elbows in the VIP box with all kinds of people like David Beckham. And there were other people there as well. So you get the idea. It's the luxury box. And Grant's there rubbing elbows. I'm sure he's telling everyone about 10X because he's that kind of guy. Maybe he's looking to raise money. I don't know. But what happened, according to the lawsuit, Grant was exiting the event, I guess, presumably with his wife, Mrs. Cardone, and everyone got funneled down. Everyone got funneled down in this exit, and there was a commotion, a distraction, and it was crowded and noisy. And thieves created a distraction, Grant Cardone alleges, in which they stole his $755,000 watch. So he sued. He sued the venue and everyone he could name. And let's take a look at that. And because it's a litany. It's such a litany of butt hurt. Let me get this up on the screen. Okay, so this is the for damages. This happened May 22 last year, I believe, and it was filed. The action was filed on October 10th, 2022. This is an older story, but it's really interesting, and I'm going to make the screen bigger. I'll post it, but basically comes now the plaintiff Grant Cardone by and through undersigned counsel, and he's suing defendant South Florida Motorsports, South Florida Stadium, Liberty Media, Wheeland Staffing Service, Inc., doing business as Best Crowd Management. Okay, so basically Grant's complaint is that the venue and all the defendants failed to provide adequate security, and he talks about the factual background on it. On or about May 28, plaintiff Cardone attended Formula One Miami Grand Prix and entered the premises known and described as Miami International Autodrome, located at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. So this was a prestige event, and he was a guest of the real estate developer Cushman and Wakefield. I had to work for them back in the 80s on some of their high rises on lighting retrofits. So I know Cushman and Wakefield, they like to have these big splashy events. And I attended many. They're a great company. So this race was advertised as the Crypto.com Formula One Miami Grand Prix, Crypto.com. And he was there, and Cardone has to name drop even in his lawsuits. So look at 13. Cardone and several other high-profile individuals, including David Beckham, Michael Jordan, and Pharrell Williams, attended the F1 race event where they lounged and watched the Formula One Paddock Club. That's the VIP lounge. So what he's saying is like, wow, I hung around with Michael Jordan, David Beckham, everyone else. And he wants you to know where he's at in the early VIPs. So when they were exiting, it says, he notes, this is Grant bragging more at point 16. Tickets cost as high as $50,000 to $100,000 to attend this event, but he was comped by Cushman and Wakefield because he buys a lot of real estate. So he was in possession and complete control of the watch, blah, 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 blah. So this Richard Mille, and at $750,000, it's not the highest as we saw. You can spend $6 million or more. It's not the cheapest. I would say it's on the lower end of Richard Mille's. And not to name drop myself, but I will. I have a couple of clients who have Richard Mille's. I do that kind of PI work. So there you go. I've seen them, held it in my hand. You know, beautiful stuff. It's amazing. Cardone's watch was 10 of 15 made in that particular issue, and I don't know which one. But anyway, point 21. As Cardone, his wife, and a friend were leaving the track, a group of thieves orchestrated a massive distraction to steal Cardone's rare Richard Mille watch. The thieves took advantage of the poor mode of operation on the premises that led to pedestrian bottlenecking in areas of ingress and egress. So he got his watch stolen, and there was a distraction. And of course, if you're going to wear a $755,000 watch, attend a luxury event where people are wearing their finest jewelry, thieves are going to flock to those things. We know that a lot of celebrities, unfortunately, have been hit by thieves either in their homes, hotels, and so on, because these are professional gangs of thieves. And I would have thought actually that Grant Cardone would have had bodyguards. That's what I would have thought. That an event like that with that kind of jewelry and his wife, and he's got the money, or he's not. It's not like he's digging, in the sofa for loose pocket change. Well, no, I take that back. When you look at his Regulation A offerings, where you can invest as little as $1,000 in his 10XL, then he's trying to scrape up money anywhere. But my point is, he's got a few bucks, and I would have thought he would have hired like 2 bodyguards, because his wife is there on his watch, and himself, he's got hire some security for the event, Grant, and so what happened, it's really funny. Let me get the other screens up for your amusement. So we have this up now. When he sued the venue, and you see the defendants there at the bottom, you know what they did? This was really funny to have happen. I mean, I'm sorry Grant got his watch stolen. He should have had it insured. I would have think you would have a $755,000 watch insured against theft. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't insured. But whatever. He sued as an individual himself. He didn't sue the name of the company, which means he actually owns the watch. Usually Grant likes to own stuff through companies. I'm surprised there wasn't like our Cardone Watch Repository LLC, where he could use them as, company write-offs or something. But anyway, he owns the unlike his aircraft, which he owns for an aviation LLC, and his other condos and things he lives anyway. He owns the watch as an individual. Now, the defendants put in a motion to compel arbitration because they basically said at the bottom, you can read right about here. Yet Cardone neglects to disclose to the court that he and SFM are already parties to an ongoing binding arbitration based on the alleged theft. Ooh, the alleged theft. Now that's really interesting. Just me reading it, lawyers just slapped Grant in the face. It's an alleged theft, which means, was it stolen for the insurance money? Or was this a setup? Was it really a $755,000 watch? Because this is nasty language. This is why lawsuits can be really fun to watch. They can get really vicious. So based on the alleged theft, so the venue's not taking any responsibility at all. And they said, per the ticket, so there's some arbitration going on, and they're basically mentioning, it says first, when Cardone accepted the transfer of his electronic ticket license for the event from Cushman, he agreed to be bound by the ticket-back terms governing the license, including mandatory arbitration to be administered by JAMS pursuant to the Federal Arbitration Act. Oh, man. Second, pursuant to the terms and conditions of the electronic ticket Cardone used to enter the event on May 8, 2022, he again agreed to arbitrate this dispute. Third, and finally, pursuant to the license agreement between SFM and Cushman, all disputes arising out of or relating to the license agreement are subject to mandatory arbitration to be administered by JAMS. Oh, man, that is amazing. So they told him, you're going to have to go into arbitration, Mr. Cardone, about your allegedly stolen $755,000 Richard Mille. And Cardone sued and said, I shouldn't be subject to arbitration. And yet he was subject to arbitration. The case was dismissed with prejudice. Now, I don't know what actually happens. Dig into the court documents. I don't know if the venue wrote him a check or he wrote it off as a loss. I don't know. All I know is he screamed, like I said, Grant Cardone screamed like a stuck pig when he had to go to arbitration. Now, if Grant went into flag about his stolen watch, they might have questions about his EPTS. But they also might do a SEC check where he would be asking, this is what Scientology does when you had your $755,000 Richard Mille stolen. They might say, now, Grant, when did you in a past life steal a $755,000 watch? When did you steal an expensive watch? When did you belong to a group of thieves who stole expensive watches? Because you pulled this in, you caused it. They could ask him that kind of question, because in Scientology, when something bad happens to you, it's all your fault. You pulled it in, and it could be you did an exact same crime in a different lifetime. So, Grant Cardone, when did you steal a $755,000 watch at a sporting event? Come on, Grant, spit it out. Spit it out. Don't be a rock slammer. And they could also ask him if, what's he not telling us? Grant, what are you not telling us? What are you not telling us about the watch? So Scientology has a way of playing head games, and they're going to be charging Grant Cardone money for the SEC check to be asked, when did you in a previous life, you and others, act to steal watches? Have you been a whole track watch thief for the last trillions of years? Have you stolen watches? Wow, that's something to think about. Is he a whole track watch thief who now owns a watch and had it stolen as a way to put in ethics on himself. And yet he's suing the venue saying they didn't provide adequate security. And the question would be, well, Grant, if you're a billionaire tycoon, which you don't have $1 billion, I don't believe it. I think you have a couple billion in debt, but that's just my opinion. And so, and I'm not a hater, I'm just a critic. So, Jesus. Sometimes this stuff is. So another thing Scientology could do about the stolen watch would be like, you what? You bought a $755,000 watch and you didn't increase your IAS status? Grant, we need to clear this fucking planet, and we need the money to clear this planet and open ideal orgs. And we don't need you dilettante, feedy-weedy, social media, buying $755,000 WOG watches. If you're going to get serious, you put that money down and you pay for someone's bridge, or you up your IAS status, or you do something to help the church, because you already got a whole bunch of watches and you only wear one watch at a time. And a watch is just a messed object. And so are you being an OT, or is your identity based on wearing a $755,000 watch? Well, you can bet that Grant dresses to impress. Everything he does is to make an impression. So this was just funny. The main point is that Scientology will force you into arbitration, but when a Scientologist gets forced into arbitration, Xenu, have mercy, because he's going to sue you for everything you got. But so I don't know what happened, because the court documents don't make it clear, other than the case was dismissed with prejudice. So just an interesting story. When Scientologist gets a taste of his church's own medicine, he doesn't like it. And the court doesn't care, because the terms on the back of the ticket to the event he attended, the fine print forces you into arbitration. So let that be a lesson to you. If you ever wear your $755,000 watch to an event, you better have some security with you, and you better keep an eye on things. And there you go. And maybe you should not wear that event. But you know what? When you're at an event like that and you got a $755,000 watch, I think I would just wear it. And actually, I think I would have bought a more expensive Richard Mille, because really it's about showing off, right? So what's another 750,000? What's another $2-3 million, right? It's just, from what I heard, and I just hear talk that Grant's already charging his company for jet fuel that he shouldn't, but that's a minor thing. So the other problem, Grant, of course, in the class action case we're watching, Louis Pino versus Cardone Capital, Grant lost that appeals court, and he was found by the appeals court to be a statutory seller of securities because of his online solicitations. So the question is, was Grant's watch stolen because he's screwing over his investors? Did he pull it in because he's screwing over his investors? Is he trying to put in ethics on himself? So who knows? In Scientology, it's such a hall of mirrors sometimes that even if he was a legitimate victim of thieves who stole his watch, Scientology can turn that into him, it being his fault that his watch was stolen, because he stole watches, like I said elsewhere. But he could have also pulled it in because he's cheating his investors and he needed to do something to put in ethics on himself. Or it could be that he went PTS because his twin brother, Gary Cardone, and Gary's ex-wife, Monica, are being sued by the United States Federal Trade Commission and the state of Florida for engaging in fraudulent trade practices. So those Cardone boys, they're in a heap of trouble, and Grant got his fancy watch stolen, is what it amounts to. So just a slice of life in keeping up with the Cardones. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more SPTV.